Russia launched a rare drone and missile attack on western Ukraine overnight, officials said Thursday, striking targets including an American-owned electronics plant and injecting further uncertainty into the US-led efforts to end the three-year-old war. The aerial assault on a part of Ukraine that has largely avoided such focused attacks was one of Russia's biggest this year and came amid Moscow's objections to key aspects of proposals that could end the fighting following Russia's February 2022 invasion of its neighbor. The Flex factory is one of the biggest American investments in Ukraine, Andy Hunter, president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Ukraine, told the Associated Press. Russia is destroying American business in Ukraine. Russia is destroying Ukraine, and those values that America has stood for and that it continues to stand for, Hunter said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky suggested in his nightly video address that Russia had been purposely targeting American investments in Ukraine. "We believe that it was a targeted strike specifically on American property here in Ukraine, on American investments," he said. Zelensky condemned the attack amid a renewed diplomatic push for peace. U.S. President Donald Trump discussed the war with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska last week before hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders at the White House on Monday. But Russia has fired nearly 1,000 long-range drones and missiles at Ukraine since Monday's White House talks, according to Ukrainian tallies.
So this is one of the safest places in Ukraine. Over the last nearly 4 years, this has been a really safe place. And today, overnight, we saw Russian missiles directly target American business. This shows that Russia does not want peace. Russia is intending to continue the destruction, the death, and the destroying Ukraine. And that's very, very concerning. And this is something we want President Trump to see, to understand that Russia is destroying American business in Ukraine, Russia is destroying Ukraine, and those values that America has stood for and that continues to stand for.
Russian forces fired cruise missiles at a U.S. company in Mukachevo city in Ukraine's southwestern Zakarpattia region on the night leading to August 21, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Thursday. The plant was involved in production of household appliances. 15 people were injured in the attack on the plant. Fire covering 7,000 square meters broke out at the site and is being brought under control. Last night, the Russian army set one of its insane anti-records. They targeted civilian infrastructure facilities, residential buildings, and our people. Several cruise missiles were lobbed against an American-owned enterprise in Zakarpattia, Zelensky wrote on a Facebook post on Thursday. The Ukrainian leader said the struck facility was a regular civilian business, supported by American investment, producing everyday items like coffee machines. He added that there were no global efforts to stop Russia's war of invasion. On August 21, Russia launched one of its largest air raids on Ukraine since the start of full-fledged invasion in February 2022, involving 600 drones and missiles, Ukrainian Air Force reported. Overall, Russia launched 574 Shahid attack drones and decoys, along with 40 missiles, including 4 Kh-47M2 Kinzhal aero-ballistic missiles, 2 Iskander M/KN-23 ballistic missiles, 19 Kh-101 cruise missiles from the Saratov region, 14 caliber cruise missiles from the Black Sea, as well as one unidentified missile from Russian-annexed Crimea Peninsula. Ukrainian Air Force thwarted the massive Russian attacks with the use of aviation, air defense systems, electronic warfare units, UAV units, and mobile fire groups of the Ukrainian Defense Forces. Russian missiles and drones hit 11 locations across the country, while falling debris caused damage at 3 more sites.
Ё-моё! Рефлекс.
Чуешь, это там все взрывы, эти машины шли?
Да.
Чуешь?
Да.
Ну.
Кошмар.
Это жесть.
The economic crisis is rapidly approaching the Russian Federation. Salary arrears and hidden unemployment rates are rapidly growing at Russian enterprises. This was reported by pro-Kremlin media, citing data from the Federation of Independent Trade Unions of Russia. According to the organization, in July, the debt on payments increased by a quarter and reached 1.7 billion rubles. At the same time, the number of employees at risk of losing their jobs has increased by 1.5 times. In addition, the number of jobs transferred to idle mode has increased by a third. Official statistics confirm trends that are alarming for Russians. According to Rosstat, by the end of May, wage arrears had grown 3.4 times compared to last year and amounted to 1.66 billion rubles, excluding small and medium businesses. By July, this amount had risen even higher, reaching 1.7 billion rubles. Rostrud data also show a worsening situation on the labor market. The share of Russians forced to work part-time or part-week increased from 9.1% in June to 14.4% by mid-July. The problems were especially acute in industrial regions: Yaroslavl, Moscow, Samara, Ulyanovsk regions, and in Tatarstan. The number of employees on layoff rose from 8.6% in June to 11.1% in July. At the same time, the level of planned layoffs also increased. If in May 16.7% of employees were threatened with layoffs, then in June the figure reached 20.4%. Economists emphasize that the current difficulties are a direct consequence of the protracted war against Ukraine. Russia is bogged down in an aggressive campaign, absorbing resources and directing colossal funds to military needs, while industry and the social sphere are in crisis. The blow to the Russian economy is systematic. Rising debt, falling employment, and mass downtime at enterprises have become the inevitable result of the Kremlin's policies. In this case, the population's anger towards Vladimir Putin's government is also growing. It is not excluded that there will be social unrest in the country. Recall, Russia is running out of money and has a record hole in its budget. Against the backdrop of falling incomes, mine closures, industrial losses, and the halt in the export of key goods, Russian regions are massively plunging into deficit. In the first half of 2025, the hole in local budgets reached almost 400 billion rubles, and the situation continues to rapidly worsen. According to the Federal Treasury, in January to June 2025, Russian regions had a budget deficit of 397.8 billion rubles. This is a sharp decline compared to the same period last year, when a surplus of 855.8 billion was recorded. Experts call the situation unprecedented. Such a deficit in regional budgets has never been recorded before.